What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Inside 11, and right now I just want to get into the topic of speaking up for yourself because a lot of people in society could develop these throat chakra issues just based on their early childhood and things like that, which can create an arrested development disorder really in this particular area, because that's what I'm targeting today. Because when you can't speak up for yourself, man, just based on a lot of these early childhood experiences, based on you constantly receiving someone else's energy and stuff like that, and you may build up this belief that you're not supposed to speak up for yourself, you're not supposed to stand up for yourself, which really kind of develops into your midlife and shit like that, into like situations of not being able to say what you truly want, not being able to communicate freely, just because we may have this deposit of negative energy, this kind of parasite that's attached to our throat. So we're not truly able to communicate how we feel and how we think. So when we're not able to communicate how we feel and how we think, we're going to be in situations, circumstances, and shit like that where we might truly want to say something, we might truly want to say no to something, we might truly want to go and do that thing and speak, and so we can get that thing going in action, so that communication, that thought could travel between two people. But a lot of the times when you come from that space of not being able to speak up when you was younger, just based on what your parents have projected on you and things like that, you might have these circumstances and experiencing these situations where you can't even speak up. It's almost like you're blocked, but it's so deeply rooted on a subconscious, unconscious level that we might not even really be aware of that until we actually start to go through negative situations in our life to show us that, hey, you know what, I might be not utilizing a chakra, I might be missing an aspect of myself, and that's why I'm not necessarily able to manifest that situation in my life. A lot of the times you could be at work and you might want tomorrow off and shit like that, and you might not be able to ask for that just based on having that subconscious, deeply rooted belief of, hey, you're not supposed to speak up for yourself, you're supposed to let adults in the room or just people around you order you around and shit like that, right? So a lot of times you just develop into problems in our lives and stuff like that. And then when we go through these extreme negative situations, that's really just God reminding us that, hey, look, there's something that you're missing, and that's why you don't have the key to that situation, right? And when you don't have the key to that situation, you're not going to be able to evolve beyond that circumstance due to the lack of ability to utilize one of your chakras and stuff like that. And a lot of the times, like when you can't speak up for yourself, you're not going to be able to speak up for how you personally feel when it comes to a person, place, or something that you're dealing with and stuff like that. And when you can't express how you feel and stuff like that, you can't even fight for yourself. You can't even ask for what you want. You might even go to court and accept whatever predicament comes your way just based on believing that, hey, I'm not supposed to fight against the court. You see, it's a lot of these beliefs really that's subconsciously so deeply rooted in a parasitical way that doesn't allow us to actually go forward in a way that's holistic. Because being holistic is all about being aware of what we're not utilizing and what we're utilizing, and bringing those things into some form of balance so we can actually start to use the full capabilities, the full ability of our spirit without missing a spectrum. And a lot of the times, like, it depends on what spectrum you're coming from, because some people are more emotional in nature and stuff. Some people are just more fiery. They know how to, like, if you're more so on the Martian side, you're more aggressive, you're more passionate about your own idea, or you know how to just move in the room like Scorpios and stuff like that to get what you want and shit. Or if you're on the other side, you're too much of a Venetian, you're too much loving, valuing, and appreciating. Either way, you just want to be able to use that throat chakra so you can actually communicate what needs to be communicated. You could be too much of a Venetian, sometimes too loving, to the point that whatever comes out of your mouth a lot of the times could be something that's not really in your favor because it lacks balance as far as how that was communicated. And a lot of times we might have to go through these experiences with people to see that, what, god damn it, I'm falling short. Either I'm just being too relatable to people, I'm just being too open to people, or I'm just not being an individual based on even lacking courage and shit like that, right? Because we wouldn't even be experiencing throat chakra problems for the most part if we had like courage, if our solar plexus energy was right, if our throat chakra energy was right. Because remember, all these chakra systems are connected, right? And when you go through situations, it's going to be different parts of these chakras during when you're moving through space, when you're moving through time. Let's say at your workplace, sometimes you might have to be a little bit relatable so you can see, okay, where someone else is coming from, so you can actually receive that form that they're giving you. But then make sure that you're not subduing yourself to whatever that light, that consciousness that projection that they're throwing on you, so you don't lose yourself within that process and think that, oh, okay, for example, in that situation, your solar plexus energy could be weak. You might just be feeling too much shit from outside of you, rather than putting your esoteric guard up. This way you can actually, protect yourself from the situation, or just take action and show the other person that you're an individual and you'll be taken advantage of. Because a lot of the times people just accept whatever it is that's handed to them. And a lot of the times it's just that we're so busy living our lives based on childhood experiences that was forced upon us. So we think a lot of the times those are the experiences that we have to keep on experiencing, right? But that's why doing the shadow work is really important. Because when we do the shadow work, when we're actually able to see what's going on in our mind from a clear perspective without our diluted perceptions of ourselves. Because really, God wants everybody to be whole. God wants everybody to be complete. God wants everybody to love themselves. And if you can't speak up for yourself, that's not healthy for you, because that shows that a person may lack self-love. A person may not value themselves. And when you don't value yourself and you don't love yourself, of course you can't speak up for yourself. But when it just comes to the point of speaking up for yourself, a lot of the times this area here of the throat chakra, you can even experience it as like, how would I describe it? It's just like a feeling in your throat chakra where it's almost like a thought form. It's kind of like holding your hand here, but it's like something more internal. So it's like a lot of the wiring needs to be changed in your throat chakra and stuff like that, right? And one of the cool things that I tried was sound healing. I went to this like sound healer and stuff like that, and she did this like sound therapy and stuff, and it assisted me in purging a lot of the remaining unclear feelings within my heart and within my throat. So after that, I was just yawning so much, and she was telling me like, yeah, yawning is a good sign because you're releasing a lot of toxic energy, to the point that now I don't feel it. But that's the thing though, it's like the more you use that muscle in general and start to speak up for yourself, the more you start to have it more in your life. Because if you don't use something, you're gonna lose it. If you don't work out, you're not gonna have no muscles, both mentally speaking and both physically speaking. So it's like the whole body and mind is a muscle that we have to train. And that's why discipline is so important. Being serious about your healing journey is important. Being serious about the shadow work journey is important, and shit like that, right? So you want to make sure that you put yourself in a space where you can really experience the reality that you want to experience. And a lot of the times, it's not just enough to think and feel healthy thoughts. A lot of the times, these things need to be spoken into existence. But the starting point can be thinking and feeling healthy thoughts, seeing and feeling yourself in a much more better existence, in a better space. Because if you're not, because that's the starting point too as well. When you have to see that vision in your mind. You have to let go of that old orb, that old accumulation based on past experiences that can accumulate into feelings. A lot of it's just toxicity and stuff like that we have to let go of. So when you stop paying attention to the old reality and you're really, really invested into your new reality, I mean, you're doing your rituals, you're doing your spells, and you're envisioning that reality, you're anchoring that vision into reality, and you're feeling it. What would it be like to be in that healthy space already? Because you're literally just shifting your awareness into a new body of light. Really, more accurately, you're replacing the data of this body with some type of new data, informational input, so you can actually play out that reality and stuff like that. Like I said, there's so many ways to go about it and stuff like that. But what I would recommend in general is just, start to speak up for yourself, no matter how hard it seems, right? Because when you do that, you're training the muscle. You're reminding yourself, hey, I have this ability. Like, for example, the more you speak up, really, the more powerful your voice is going to be. So when people speak to you, they're going to be like, damn, what the fuck is this? Is this a fucking dragon or some shit? Because, and make sure you do it with things that you like to do. So if you like singing, make sure you're singing and stuff like that. If you like politics or whatever, make sure that you're debating or whatever it is. Or if you like doing presentations, do presentations. Whatever it is that gets you to use your throat chakra, you want to start to get into that, because that's going to be a part of you training your throat chakra. So then whatever muscles you build, because let's say, for example, like I used to do presentations like a year ago, 2 years ago on esoteric stuff, right? Which I might get into in the future, but that's another time for another time, right? But I noticed that when I do these presentations, even though I was just presenting it and recording the video and posting it on YouTube, that within itself, I was able to take that muscle that I built up during doing that, when I was doing that presentation, and take it into other areas of my life. So when I was at work, I was speaking up more for myself, what I wanted and needed and stuff like that, right? So that was like 2 years ago and shit. But That's the point. You want to start using your throat chakra. You want to start using your ability to speak up for yourself, because if you don't, it's something that you're gonna lose, and you might feel like, and even if you do speak, you might sound like a pep squeak. You might sound like, you don't got it together. You don't know what you're doing, and it's all types of ways you can start to train your throat chakra. But that's just kind of how I started to do it, by clearing up a lot of these negative experiences from the past that told me I'm not supposed to express myself, I'm not supposed to be myself, and I'm supposed to let other people, talk to me crazy however they wanted to talk to me, just based upon early childhood experiences, because a lot of the times we be living out those versions of ourselves rather than just accepting and being in the present moment and accepting all the good and all the possible things that can happen within that present moment, right? Because a lot of times, like I said, we're just living life based upon past preferences that don't really got anything to do with the present. But you can bring the past with you to the present and shit like that and create the future with it. I just don't recommend that, because like you might come from a very healthy upbringing, and that's good. At that point, you just want to start to continue building up yourself, continue building up your own character and things like that, and just going through experiences so you can actually see, okay, what areas you might lack in and stuff like that. Because it's a whole Kabbalah transformation system, whole Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto, Ouroboros, and then the mystery school and stuff like that you can start to initiate yourself into. But it all starts with just having self-awareness of what we lack, so we can start to build up those areas so we're not so deficient. Because a lot of the times we might have so much extreme energy in one area that could become a deficiency. We might just create like extreme transformative situations when it's not needed and stuff like that, so it could play out as like just an unnecessary tower moment or unnecessary destruction. But yeah, man, start to speak up for yourself, because if you don't speak up for yourself, nobody's gonna speak up for yourself. Speak up for you, because no one is coming to save you anyways. And if you rely on someone else outside of you, that's just another way for you to get taken advantage of, just based on another person knowing, hey, this person lacked this, and let me become the middleman in between them and their destiny. This way I can reap the benefit and shit like that. So you don't want to go through no energies like that whatsoever. So start to speak up for yourself, because if you don't speak up for yourself, ain't nobody gonna speak up for you, and you're gonna be wondering, God damn it, why isn't God coming down to save me? Because ain't nothing coming down to save you. You gotta be here for yourself, and you gotta save yourself, because that's a part of the whole thing of being a spirit that's going through an evolution by going through negative experiences, so we can become aware of what we lack. And when we become aware of what we lack, we start to fulfill those things that we lack, so we can actually become more complete and more whole. With that being said, appreciate everybody. Peace out. I gotta do some art right now, and I'm gonna see y'all in the video tomorrow. Peace. That's the Moody Mercury. Peace. Real shout out, Moody Mercury, baby. Real shit.